What's good, everybody? Welcome to my channel. My name is JustClark, and today I want to talk about how I studied and practiced drawing backgrounds for me to be able to create more believable and realistic environments and backgrounds in my recent illustrations that you can see right now on the screen. Yeah, leave a like if you like these illustrations. But anyways, without further ado, we're just gonna get straight right into it. Alright, so these were my background studies that I did. I pretty much just picked out like a bunch of random pictures, obviously in Japan because I'm a fucking weeb. This was my first one, just throwing myself out there and just doing it. And then I moved on to this, got a little bit more advanced, had a little bit more detail. I got a little bit more comfortable with it, even experimented with like putting a character on the background. Then next up I worked on values, it's a lot more detailed as you can see. And then I moved on to painting an actual background, like the whole freaking thing. So for this video, I'm just going to talk about how I broke down these backgrounds, how I studied the perspective, which led me to be able to get to the last point, which is painting backgrounds, which I will talk about in a different video because that is a whole nother field that is gonna go into a lot. So we're just gonna focus on how to draw it right now. So yeah, alright, so I'm gonna be using this one as the example. So the first thing that I did was figure out the horizon line. That's where the vanishing point ends up. So around this, in this particular picture, then the next step that I do is pretty much pick out the main place or area where you're gonna put most of your detail, and obviously in this picture is going to be this building right here. What I pretty much did is figure out how it sits on the perspective towards like that, and this is towards like this is a 2-point perspective, and this goes way beyond and like that. I'm gonna add the corner of the building. And then this is pretty much the bottom of the building, and we're just going to add this as well. And then same goes with this one. Then what I did is just close off the shape of the building. So just start off with like a big ass cube or something like that. And then next up, we're just gonna figure everything else here. It's just gonna sit, pretty much around the same perspective, so we don't have to worry about that too much. We just have this. We're basically grouping things together. This is very important, especially because you can see that this building is very detailed. There's tons of stuff here. There's like signs, we have like a balcony, we have windows, more balconies, we have more signs, we have this like fire exit looking stairs, we have the entrance and all of that. The reason why we're breaking this down is so that we don't break down. Now these are my basic perspective guides. Then pretty much the next step that I do here is, you trace over it, but at the same time you're breaking things down into groups. This is the second part. We're pretty much grouping things together so that when we add detail, we're not gonna get too overwhelmed because we already know where everything is going to be. So I'm going to explain that. Start off with the biggest shape that I could. The next up, we have all of these doors, I guess is what we call it. Now this is something that I did at the start, but I got a little better at it, so I did it a lot less. But squint your eyes. Just squint your eyes when you're trying to break this down at the start, because what happens when you squint your eyes, it just removes pretty much a lot of detail. I'm squinting my eyes as I'm talking. And so what you're seeing is just the big shapes, just the general shapes. I know I'm not gonna be squinting my eyes as I draw this, but pretty much we can break this down into just this shape right here. I'm grouping all of the details, just group them together. For this thingamabob right here, one thing that I do is I pretty much trace this. Now that we have this, I just copy it and then skew it. What it comes down to is the overall feel. Not everyone's gonna zoom in on the backgrounds and go like, holy shit, look at all that detail. Unless you're trying to study the background, no one's really gonna stare at it and zoom in super close. So what you want to make sure is that it looks right from afar, and if there are areas that don't look too good, it doesn't matter because overall the feeling of the image is correct. I'm not even discerning whether it's like a brick material, a plastic material, anything like that. Just drawing what I see. As you can see, I'm zooming out, and a lot of the detail just gets blurred out. A lot of the detail just gets sunk in because there's so many lines, there's so many shapes that your brain is like generalizing all of it, and it's pretty much tying everything down together even though they don't look like specific objects. Your brain is already making it up in your head what it is. So you're just trying to give that idea that, okay, this is a door, this is glass, it's transparent, there's stuff outside, there are signs, and all that good stuff. So I'm breaking these vending machines down first into just rectangular cubes. Might even break these boxes down, why not? I'm just gonna group them all together. Then I just add a little bit more detail to it. You want to be mindful as you're drawing this. You really want to think about, at the start it's pretty overwhelming with all the details in the background. Once you get used to seeing general shapes and not worrying about the details, you can slowly open your eyes and you'll unlock the shot and gun. You want to be thinking about where do you want to put detail in, because you don't want to be drawing every single detail, especially for like the buildings. They're gonna be pretty far from the final image, and so what I do here is just, alright, let me draw these posts. Just do simple sticks, just drawing simple sticks, and then just draw the general shape. And then we have car, and we have car. Now we have wall here. It's just simply just that. And then this, I'm just gonna break down simply into this and these two squares. Boom. Barely any detail. You see that? Barely any detail. But if I finish this off by drowning it out with all the shapes that I'm seeing here. Okay, I'm seeing just a bunch of shapes right here. Boom. This looks like some type of school or some shit. I'm not allowed there. Let me draw this little manhole where I live. Why am I roasting myself? Alright, I think that's about it. Boom. And if we zoom out, you can kind of check the composition. If you want to add a little bit more detail, you're thinking that this looks a little bit more empty, I guess I could add these little hedge bush tree things, and then boom. So that's pretty much the main thing. Focus first on just the big shapes. Start breaking those things down. I know it's a lot faster I did it here, but this is the result that I got from like me taking my time. And when I added the shadows, as we can see, it looks a lot better. When I zoom out, It's like all the detail gets drowned out, but because I broke things down into shapes, there's like little tells, but your brain does not have to kind of pinpoint every single thing out. So pretty much I want y'all to do that first, figure out the perspective of the image, and then find your focus, find your main focal point, which in this case it's this building right here. That's where you want to put the most detail, and that's where you want to break down the shapes into smallest shapes compared to everything else, and then everything here in the midground and the background, you want to just break them down into big to medium shapes so that you can kind of have this illusion of detail, but there's really not. Squint your eyes, focus on the general shapes, focus on the general forms. Hopefully this video has helped you guys understand a little bit about how to break down background. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, hope you guys learned something, and I hope you guys can apply this, my little practice method, to studying backgrounds. And yeah, leave a like, follow my Twitter, follow my Pixel. If you'd like to support me, check out my Patreon. All the links will be in the description down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Yeah.